It's Wednesday, September 4th, 2024. This is your Everything Vols channel, the House of Orange. This is Frank Rock. And Frank Rock today is attacking the 3-3-5 defense. I'm going to play offensive coordinator today in how I would attack the 3-3-5 defense. I'm going to go back to my days of NCAA football in 2013, 2014. Not really, but I do remember playing against those defenses on there. I have not played the new game, but I've been reading a lot on this. I've been looking at footage of what Western Carolina did well last week. I've been reading what people who have, I guess, designed plays for this defense have done as well. And it's a defense that the one term I see on it, and I love this for Tennessee, it is termed as a bend but don't break defense. It says it's usually stronger in the red zone. But we're going to attack this thing today. How can Tennessee attack that defense? So I've got 5 plays from a video here on YouTube that I found. It was some highlights of NC State versus Western Carolina. So I want to get into those. Before we do, make sure you hit that thumbs up. Sharing out the content. That's how you can help me. Probably the biggest way possible is just sharing that out. 76 subscribers away from 2,000. And then, if you're interested in supporting the channel, there are the YouTube membership options that are available. They're in the description. There are clickable links now that for some reason I did not have. And there is $1 a month Patreon as well, which does go to the channel also. Both do have clickable links now. Got 5 members right now. Appreciate all 5 of those guys for joining the channel. Hopefully we can build that up, especially as we move towards, we're getting into the heat of football season. Basketball's just around the corner. I'm going to release a basketball video later tonight talking about basketball recruiting. And then, of course, Lady Vols coming up. Congratulations to Coach Caldwell announcing yesterday she is pregnant with her first child. That's pretty awesome for her and her husband. They'll be expecting new Caldwell early 2025. And then, of course, baseball, about 5 months away. Always excited for baseball, as baseball is the thing here at the House of Orange. But let's attack this 3-3-5 tonight. So I'm going to look at a little bit of video here, and we'll kind of comment along the way. We're going to try to go through this as quick as possible. I know there's websites, others that have already done this matchup, but I'm trying to hit it from a different perspective as, like I said, I get into this, just looking at a little bit of video. So I'm looking at Western Carolina versus NC State from the ACC Digital Network. Let me hit. So I'm going to go to the 18-second mark right here. So this is the first highlight right here. As you see, NC State shotgun. Well, if Tennessee has that issue with the snap, obviously they're attacking. So one thing I noticed right there, all right, was in a 3-3-5. What is the 3-3-5? You're playing 3 down linemen. I saw it on 24/7 in their breakdown today. It was termed as, and I want to give, let me see who wrote the article. Go back to that. It was Patrick Brown, 24/7, had the article. I won't share it because it is behind a paywall. But the 3-3-5, basically the way he described it, you have a big nose guard, and you have oversized defensive ends. Then you have your 3 linebackers. And then, of course, you play your 5 defensive backs, your nickel, your 2 outside guys, your 2 safeties along the way. So who comes in to play the biggest in that regard if we look at it? If we go back and look at this again, let's see where they're coming from on this play. Let me go back up just a couple seconds. And I've been looking at some of the plays with – all right, here we go. So as you see where they're coming from right here, there's your 3 down linemen. All right, I hope we can see my mouse. They're shaded to this side. All right. If I'm Nico right here and I catch that snap, you've got 2 things you can do on it. It looks to me as if, of course, Western Carolina, they're pulling right. And it looks like this guy here, not sure if that's a tight end or it looks to me like a tight end. He appears to be coming around here as well with it. All right. So you've got 1 of 2 options. This looks like an RPO. If you're Nico and you hit that RPO, if that tight end comes around and makes his block, looks like there's a guy here as well, maybe another tight end, a smaller guy. If this dude here hits his block, this one hits his block out here on that RPO, if that goes to Sampson, that's going to be wide open through here. All right, Nico holds on to it. If this slot guy comes out here, makes his block, looks like you may have this linebacker here to beat on it. So let's look and see where it breaks down here a little bit. Here it comes. So that outside linebacker actually pinched in. If he does that on it, Nico's got all day for it. So I'm going to go now. I want to go to the 206 mark right here. 206. These are some North Carolina State. I'll pull their highlights later. So this was Concepcion. This is their slot guy. He's going to be a handful. Boo Carter, Christian Harrison, whoever covers him, they're going to have to be on it. Boo's blitzing. That means a linebacker or a safety is going to have to pick up and do their job. That's going to be a handful for what I still consider an untested secondary along the way. Now, if we look at this here, this is 3rd and 4. Keep this in mind right here. Look at what NC State's doing. They're coming heavy blitz on this one. They're pinched in. You're not going to do this against Tennessee. You're just not. Number one, this 3-3-5, it's more condensed in. The way Tennessee likes to spread them out, if they condense in, Tennessee's going to have guys wide open all game long on this. But look at this play here, 3rd and 4. Keep in mind, as you watch this guy run, he moves okay. He's not moving like Nico does, though. And, the thing about Nico last week is, think about how much he ran. He didn't run much. He did not run much at all. So let's watch and see what's happening here. The play breaks down. Look here. If Tennessee's job, so the key to me on that offensive line is going to be Cade Mays taking NC State's nose guard out of the equation. You take him out of it, you've got a mismatch from the standpoint. It looks like our linebackers, they've got 5 guys, so at least one of them dropped. This linebacker out here has been pushed out. This guy down here has been pushed out. So now look at this hole that they've got here, and then look at here. And this quarterback's going to make them pay. They're all going to that right sideline right here. This quarterback here, if Cade Mays does his job and pushes out, Spraggins and either Lampley or Carriage, they do their job. Now your tackles, of course, Hurd is going to have to keep off of Nico here. But if you push him here, you're okay. If you push him down to where this guy is, and if there's a tight end in the equation here, where I think Tennessee burns them here is if that tight end's in. Look right here. You've either got a tight end to come across the middle here, or if Tennessee's running back is back here, he can come to right here on 3rd and 4. He's wide open. That's an easy game for it. Nico doesn't even have to run. But in this case, as you see, here's our quarterback. Not the most fleet-footed. He moves okay. He moves all right. Good job. Poor tackling by NC State. Of course, they will have their full linebacker core as Fordham was suspended for the second half of their game against Western Carolina, so he's out. Now we look at some more here. Here you see they're bringing it. He rolls out. Well, who can roll out well? Look at that play. There's another one later on. Same thing. Quarterback gets some time. NC State gets a little pressure. He rolls out. We saw it last year in the bowl game against Iowa, how good Nico is at rolling out, how accurate he was. Some of those throws he had against Iowa were just amazing on the run. This is almost like a godsend. If North Carolina State's going to send that pressure and flush Nico, they're in trouble. They're in big trouble in this game. To me, the way they're leaving that middle of the field open when they're not flushed him, that's where Squirrel White, that's where Ethan Davis, Holden Stays. Those 3 guys, a Chaz Nimrod, those guys could make a difference. I think Brew McCoy is going to be big in this game too. A guy who can out-muscle these dudes as well. But here's what you're also doing. If you condense that in, all right, if you get those safeties covering guys, you're leaving one-on-one on the outside. And I know NC State has good corners, but I'll tell you what, I'll take Chris Brazel and I'll take Dante Thornton on that outside one-on-one with their size and their speed. One of the things it says about attacking a 3-3-5 defense when I read up on that is if you have an accurate quarterback who can hit the seam, you can burn that defense. Look at the possession last week where Nico hit. Who I know Dante Thornton got the touchdown. I can't remember if it was Brew or Brazel the play before that. But he hit 2 seams. Perfect. Beautiful seams there. That's setting up good for Tennessee in this game. Now, again, I'm just talking about the offense versus the defense. So I want to go back to the video and look at a couple more things here. Again, as we look at, we go back to these highlights right here. Okay. So I'm at the 232 mark. I'm going to go to the 456 mark and look at this one right here. It was basically one throw. Let me get up here. All right. This was Now, this was not the one throw. This is, so here you go again. You see, they like to shade that nickel guy in. I'm assuming I guess that could be the linebacker shaded over. Here's RPO coming at you. Watch the quarterback. Watch what NC State does. Look here with Western Carolina, number 66. He's pulling. He's pulling here. Watch what's getting ready to happen here. And you tell me with Nico and Dylan Sampson or Cam Selden or Deshaun Bishop, whomever it is, because you start seeing your tight end last week play a little bit of H-back. Tennessee is going to be able to utilize that again this week as well. So let's watch the play here and see what happens. There you go. 66 gets out there. He does his job. If that's Nico, Nico's quite a bit faster than that dude. Nine did his job. Nico's a better athlete. He's faster. He's going to burn NC State alive on that one. Okay, and we'll go to 753. Now, 753 in this highlight. Here is where I just talked about with Dante Thornton, Chris Brazel, even Brew in this as well. Okay, you leave it one-on-one. Now, this was some pretty good coverage, but here's what gives me confidence too. Nico, some of those throws he made last week, like one of them across the middle, there were guys there. Nico just made the throw. He put it in perfect. He can make this throw. So watch this throw here. Okay, again, you're seeing they're dropped back. They're only rushing 3. So now you see 5 more guys right here. There's 3 back here. Watch this dude right here. He's essentially in between 4 guys. This is a heck of a throw by the quarterback. It's also a heck of a play by the receiver. Good throw, good touch. That's a pretty big wide receiver for Western Carolina, number 7. 3 couldn't do anything with him on that one. He could not do anything with him. So I'm going to go off that now and pull that down. Attacking that 3-3-5. Tennessee has so many options, so many weapons with it. I know Missouri ran it last year against Tennessee some, and Tennessee didn't have a lot of success. But I'm telling you, though, I think last year was an outlier. And I say that because Tennessee's – I fully expect in the Josh Heupel era at Tennessee, last year will be the worst quarterback play we've seen. And I'm not counting Nico in the bowl game. All right, Joe Milton had his moments along the way. Yeah, they're just a big difference. So going back to Hendon Hooker versus Joe Milton, going back to, now going to Nico. Of course, we've not seen Nico except against Iowa, mop-up duty last year, and against Chattanooga. Everybody's gushing over Nico and the way he looked. And it's just he was in control. I love that they finished the first half struggling because that gave them something to be hungry for this week. I don't love it overall. Don't get me wrong. Don't confuse my words on that. But it gave them something. They did not finish strong. They're going to be hungry this week. You go back and look at those throws Nico made last week. This NC State, I don't know that they give them the deep route. But again, I also think if you give them that one-on-one on the outside, Brazel and Thornton, they're going to eat NC State alive. They're bigger guys. They're fast guys. And just watching NC State run after Western Carolina's quarterback, I think they're going to have – if Tennessee's – let me rephrase. If Tennessee's line does their job, if their tight ends do their job, I think this Tennessee offense is going to have their way. If they don't, they'll have a tough time with that defense. But I know back in – I think it was Josh Heupel's first year, they went to Missouri. Missouri tried that 3-3-5. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was 21. And that's when Tyon Evans, they run for a ton of yards on that day. If this line does their job, I expect Dylan Sampson to have a monster day this week. And then when the run goes, Nico reads it right with the RPO, and I expect that he will. Okay, if they're blitzing and they leave Dylan Sampson or whomever to go right in front, you're going to hit that little pass for easy first downs all day. I expect Squirrel White, I expect Ethan Davis, and probably Holden Stays to be big parts of this game. I expect Dylan Sampson to have a big game. If you let Dylan Sampson or Cam Selden get outside, they're gone. This defense for NC State will not catch them. I'm sticking with 45-17. I was listening to CBS Sports, Rick Neuheisel, and those guys a minute ago. One of the dudes on it said he didn't expect NC State to score 10 points on this one. Now, I don't know about that one because Tennessee's defense, their secondary especially, still it's still unproven. But the fact that NC State gave up 9 TFLs last week bodes well for Tennessee's defense. But just looking at that, Tennessee's weapons, if they're what we think, if they're what we do, if this line does its job, this offense is going to roll on Saturday night. I'm going to wrap up on that one with you. Again, I'm going to record a basketball video here in just a few minutes and release that around 8 o'clock. I hope you'll check that out about basketball recruiting as things are heating up on that as well. There'll be content rest of the week on here as well. It's about to amp it back up with football. Still got the rebirth of the Vols on the hooks. I'm going to wait till after this weekend. I don't want to jinx this weekend. They roll over NC State. I'm recording rebirth of the Vols first week. I don't want to record it and then crap the bed this weekend. But I hope you'll enjoy the content. I hope you'll share that out. And I hope you'll have a great rest of your evening. This is Frank Rock. This is the House of Orange Sports Channel. I'll see you when I see you. And have a happy rest of your Wednesday.